Good morning, Nantucket employees. This is Noah Karberg. I'm the Assistant Airport Manager at Nantucket Memorial Airport. Thank you, Amanda, for um, giving the airport this opportunity to provide town employees an update. I was going to go through three items fairly quickly. Picture of what's happening nationally, what's happening locally, and what this means we can expect for this summer. So, nationally, if you haven't heard, passenger traffic has declined continuously since the onset of the COVID pandemic. It's kind of hit bottom this last week at 95% reduction based on the counts of screened passengers through TSA security at airports. In rough numbers, this is a drop from 2.5 or 2.2 million daily passengers to under 100,000. So it's a very big, very sudden national system shock. Aircraft traffic has also decreased, but not by the same percentage. Aircraft traffic is down 50% or less. Again, previous to COVID, there were roughly 22,000 scheduled passenger flights on a given day, down to about roughly 13 or 14,000 now. Previous to the COVID pandemic, these aircraft were about 80% full, or 80% of the seats were sold on a flight. The average over the past few days has been 10% or even less. So, on any given day for an airline, of all the flights that they're flying, there probably isn't a single flight right now that's covering the costs of flying that operation. And we're going to see that very soon this week. United's forecast to come through with a first quarter loss of 2.1 billion with a B for the first quarter of the fiscal year. And that's really only a month and a half of true COVID impact. So it's a dire situation for airlines. Locally, Nantucket, we're pretty consistent with the national picture. All of our metrics are down 98 to 95%. Our passenger traffic going through TSA screening is down 92% from yesterday's day over the previous year. So down from the same Tuesday in 2019. This is true whether you're looking at TSA screen passengers leaving Nantucket, if you're looking at traditional commuter passengers leaving on Cape Air to Hyannis, that's also down about the same number. Our fuel sales are down an equivalent number, as well as our private passenger arrivals. The only thing that's up right now is freight. FedEx is up 51% over February for March, and UPS is up 141% for March over the preceding February. I have to take a minute, since this is an employee-focused video. We have to recognize our own staff. We're fortunate and we're grateful that not only is our staff safe and healthy, but they've been great through the pandemic. Thank you guys. Thank you, men and women of the airport. The airport is essential infrastructure, and we've maintained being open and operational according to our regulations, according to a number of safety standards through the pandemic. We're here to maintain accessibility to the air traffic system for cargo, for essential travel, for emergency medical transport, and this doesn't happen without our staff who are making do with a frightening situation. What else for the airport locally? Obviously, March and April are our low season. We talk about declines of 92% in traffic, and that's scary, but losing 92% of March and April revenue is only a few $100s in revenue. Looking ahead to the summer, however, those losses can be in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands, and that's something that we're looking to now, and that's where our efforts are focused. What's happening 3 to 15 months from now? And to the last point, what does this mean for the summer? And I think anyone who's working on a return to normal operations plan, uncertainty is the key word. For the aviation sector, the new normal, what we can call the new normal, is thought to be 18 to 36 months away. And even then, that new normal would only be 90% the size of the industry as we knew it through 2019. And when we draw that time frame and those capacities out to our seasonal market, right now we believe we'll see summer traffic on the order of 50% of last year's during the months of June, July, and August. For us, this equates to a revenue loss of around 1.8 million for fiscal year 20 and 5.7 million in fiscal year 21. And again, these are just early projections of revenue loss for the airport. So the uncertainty, it's not knowable, but we do have some benchmarks we have looked to and will continue to look for that can guide and refine our forecast. The first and the important one is the DOT order. Many of you have probably heard about the CARES Act. The DOT order is a requirement for airports accepting money under the CARES Act. They have to fly their previously scheduled service that was scheduled prior to COVID if they receive funds. So we can expect that we will see, I'll just say many right now, many of the aircraft that were scheduled to fly will still fly to Nantucket this summer. We're just not anticipating they'll be filled with passengers. We'll hear more information from the DOT about this, but when we look at our revenue sources, the fixed revenue, landing fees from aircraft, some fuel sales, we think this will continue to be available, but the passenger-dependent revenue will fall. The next item we look to is GDP. GDP is the single best corollary for corporate air traffic. When the market does well, so does corporate travel. Again, we can't forecast that drop forward, but we can look at historical ranges of GDP drop and recovery, which actually fall in a pretty defined mix. And this is a good point for anticipating how future demand is going to grow and recover in that sector. And then we look to medical milestones. It is going to be an uphill battle to get people back into airplanes. Not only vacations are elective travel, and a lot of good folks are going to be hurting financially for some time. The other problem is establishing faith in the passenger experience. Aircraft is a narrow tube where you are generally shoulder to shoulder with people. People aren't going to be excited to come back to that experience through TSA screening, through lining up at ticketing agents, using common kiosks, until there are medical solutions, herd immunity, vaccines, broad-based antibody testing. And these are significant barriers to overcome, and they're going to have an outsized impact on return to air travel. So it's a frightening time, but I do want to leave all of our town employees on a positive note. We're here. We're going to be open. We're going to be working hard for you, and we're going to be working with the town, with the FAA, with the state DOT to make sure transportation is safe and is accessible. We're really only a month and a half into the pandemic, and we're forecasting right now with limited tools, but these tools are going to get better and get better quickly, and that's going to help us make more accurate forecasts that are going to help our residents make their personal and business decisions appropriately based on recovery of air traffic to Nantucket over the next 18 to 36 months. So we hope everyone gets better quickly. Again, we're a small community. Let's look out for each other, stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you.